Living in an HOA neighborhood comes with its annoyances. Fines for silly things, constant nitpicking. But what happened to my wife one afternoon crossed a line so severe it shook the whole community. My wife, 7 months pregnant at the time, was unloading groceries from her car. It was a hot day, and she was struggling to carry bags inside. That's when one of the HOA's so-called compliance officers, a man named Rick, stormed up the driveway. He wore a reflective vest and carried himself like he was law enforcement, though he was nothing more than a hired security guard for the HOA. "You can't park in the driveway like that," he barked, pointing at our car. She was panting from carrying bags. "I'm just unloading groceries. I'll move the car in a minute." But Rick didn't care. He stepped closer, voice raised. "Rules are rules. You're blocking the sidewalk. That's a violation." My wife, already stressed and exhausted, waved him off. "I live here. Please back up and give me space." Instead of backing off, Rick's temper exploded. He accused her of being uncooperative and then, unbelievably, reached for the taser strapped to his hip. She froze. "Wait, what are you doing?" Before she could move, he fired. The taser prongs hit her arm, and she collapsed on the driveway, screaming. Neighbors came rushing out, horrified. Someone shouted, "She's pregnant, you idiot!" But Rick just muttered something about non-compliance. I got the call while I was at the courthouse finishing paperwork. When I arrived home, an ambulance was already in front of the house. My wife was shaken but thankfully stable. The taser hadn't harmed the baby, though the doctors kept her overnight for monitoring. And Rick? He was pacing outside like he'd done nothing wrong. When I stepped out of my car, he had the audacity to say, "Your wife assaulted me by refusing to follow orders. The HOA will be fining you." I pulled myself up to full height and looked him dead in the eye. "Do you have any idea who I am?" He smirked. "Doesn't matter. HOA rules apply to everyone." That's when I showed him my federal judge ID. His face drained of color instantly. "You just assaulted a pregnant woman," I told him, my voice calm but ice cold. "And worse, you abused authority you don't even have. You're about to find out what real accountability looks like." Within the hour, I was on the phone with the police chief and the district attorney. Assault with a weapon, impersonating an officer, reckless endangerment. It stacked up quickly. Officers arrived and placed Rick in cuffs while half the neighborhood stood outside watching. The HOA board scrambled, insisting they had no idea he'd overstepped. But discovery proved otherwise. They'd been encouraging him to act like law enforcement, to intimidate residents into compliance. That little detail sealed their fate. Rick is now facing felony charges and likely years in prison. The HOA board? They're being sued for negligence and reckless endangerment. Several members have already resigned to avoid further scrutiny. As for me, I made it clear during proceedings. No one is above the law, not even an HOA. And no one, absolutely no one, threatens my wife or child without consequences. The best part? The neighborhood voted to dissolve the HOA entirely within months. The same people who once tolerated Karen-style harassment now cheerfully wave when they see my wife walking with our newborn. Rick thought he had authority. The HOA thought they had power. Turns out they had neither.